Yo guys, it's Slyroh. You already know that today I'm bringing you week 3 of the Pokemon Premier League, and this week we are taking on Fredford and the Borussia Doublade. But before we get into that, I want to clear out a couple of things quickly. First thing, big shout out to Blaze Shadowthorn on Twitter, who did gen my team this week. I was having some problems with PK Hex, which have been resolved, which means that I should be able to gen my own team for the upcoming weeks. But big thanks to them, because without them I probably wouldn't be able to battle when I am able to. So yeah, also if you look on my team is of course on my right and your left, so right here. There is a change because the transfer window was this past week, and I dropped Jinx from the team and instead I signed Gourgeist. And so definitely welcome Gourgeist to the Pittsburgh Pyroar. Gives me a spin blocker, gives me another Will-O-Wisp user, and just another good defensive Pokemon with some speed, with like Gourgeist small and things like that. So it fits out, it checks out with a lot of things that I like on my team, and Jinx just wasn't really pulling through because everything else my team can do its job better. So now to move on to the team. Also, if you do want to skip the team recap, you can feel free. There should be an annotation for you to skip the battle, skip to the battle, and you can just do that. But if you want to see me break down this ridiculous team that I'm bringing this week, then definitely stay tuned. So let's get into it. Looking at Fred's team, it is really scary. It is full of threats. 3 main threats, almost 4 actually. And those being Mega Mawile, Kieran Black, Latios, and Dragalge. Now, the reason, I don't even think I really need to give a reason as to why these things are threats. Mega Mawile and Kieran Black specifically speak for themselves. Latios and Dragalge are a little bit more threatening to me than maybe some other people, just because special defense is something that is a little bit lacking on my team. And I do lack a little bit of coverage to be able to handle that, as well as, you know, just being able to take on things like Mega Mawile and Kieran Black, and I don't even know. There's basically a lot of stuff. Also, the thing about his team is that it's slow, and last week he did bring a Trick Room team, and he could bring a Trick Room team this week as well, and if he does, then he's going to outspeed my everything, and it's going to just turn out bad for me. So, let's just break down the team that I'm bringing against him. Of course, his team is over here, and let's just break down my team one by one, using the usual method of what I do, and that's just prepare for threats and bring what I can. I'm also going for a bit of surprise factor this week, hopefully trying to bring some things that maybe he didn't plan for, and hopefully, you know, I can get things to go my way to bring things to my advantage. So just listening from the top, the first threat that I had to figure out how to deal with is Mega Mawile. And Mega Mawile, I was under the impression that I could deal with better than I actually can. Things like Quagsire still get bopped by Play Rough, like 2-hit KOs. Things like Glasgow doesn't even take Play Rough super well. As well as things like that. Gourgeist does not take on, you know, things like Sucker Punch. Whatever. I mean, there's just a lot of things that don't really work very well. However, the best counter I have to Mega Mawile is Arcanine. So Arcanine is the first Pokemon that I am bringing this week, and Arcanine, basically, let's just break it down. It is bringing the leftovers with Intimidate, Flare Blitz, Will-O-Wisp, Close Combat, and Morning Sun, with max attack, max defense, 4 EVs in HP, and an impish nature. And the reason for this is basically because defensive Arcanine matches up really well against Mega Mawile, whereas offensive Arcanine takes out Mega Mawile one shot. So I kind of just decided to bring both. Fred doesn't have a lot of physical attackers, so I didn't really need like full physical bulk, and like I said, I match up against Mega Mawile really well, especially with leftovers and Morning Sun and being able to outspeed, things like that. Of course, Will-O-Wisp is there to burn it. Flare Blitz takes it out one shot. Close Combat I have there just to have another powerful hitting move. It also hits Kieran Black harder than Flare Blitz does. And if I just want to, you know, fire off a powerful move without wanting recoil damage, that's what I do have that for. So Arcanine is my Mega Mawile counter, which means that it does need to stay around. Definitely need to keep it alive. and I really just need to try and prevent Mega Mawile from setting up on it as well, which, because I have Flare Blitz and I can one-shot it, I should either, force it to switch out, or maybe just take it out early in the match, which we'll see. I know Fred's a really good player, so I'm pretty sure he's not going to let his Mega Mawile die very easily. So yeah. The next big threat on his team is Kieran Black, and as odd as it is, my Kieran Black counter is Kieran. It's an offensive counter. I can't really switch into a hit against Kieran Black. I don't really have a lot of stuff that can, which is a problem and is something that we will get to later. But as far as being able to take out Kieran Black, I am bringing Scarfed Kieran. So Kieran with the Choice Scarf, Pressure, because it's the only ability it can have, Draco Meteor, Psychic, Earth Power, Shadow Ball, Max Special Attack, Max Speed, with 4 EVs and HP, as well as a Timid Nature. I want to be able to outspeed, and the only thing that will outspeed it is, anything Scarfed on his team. Which means Draco Meteor one-shots Kieran Black, one-shots Latios, and I'll outspeed Latios if that isn't Scarfed. And yeah, so Draco Meteor actually also hits basically his entire team really hard, with the exception of Mega Mawile, because, Fairy. But that's what I have Earth Power for. Earth Power doesn't do a super huge amount, but it is good, like chip damage. It is good to get damage on the Mega Mawile, and it deals with it okay, decently well, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to stay on it because Play Rough is a thing. But either way, I originally had Psychic on this because he did have Golbat. He did end up dropping Golbat for Musharna, but Psychic still, is good for things like Chestnut and whatever. Basically, because I'm Scarfed, I want 4 attacking moves, and there really isn't 4 attacking moves that Kieran gets that hits like 4 different Pokemon hard. Draco Meteor also takes out Dragalge. I think it's a one-shot, I'm not entirely sure. But Psychic is another move to use on things like maybe Dragalge if he like switches it in or something like that, and then I don't have to get the special attack drop from Draco Meteor. Shadow Ball, I think hits Musharna decently well, and it also hits things like Beheeyem. And same situation applies with Latios if I don't want to get a special attack drop, or maybe, I just want Shadow Ball to be a safe. Shadow Ball basically hits everything on his team except for Kecleon. So it could just be good, like neutral attack, safe play, things like that. And yeah, so that's all the 4 moves there. It is Scarf to outspeed. Hopefully, I can, I'm probably gonna have to bring it in for like revenge killing. Hopefully, I can just kill some things with this Kyurem. I think this Kyurem does have the possibility to put in a lot of work. So that is that. So that basically covers his main threats. However, I still am not super comfortable because I didn't really have a switch in for his special attackers. So things like Latios, things like Kieran Black, things like Dragalge, Heliolisk even, things like that. I don't really have switch into Magneton, Beheeyem, I guess. And so I found it really hard to try and find anything that can take special hits. I don't really have a special wall. And so I brought my favorite item ever, the Assault Vest. And this time I am putting it on Drapion. So this Drapion is going to make his debut with Assault Vest, like I said, and he has Knockoff, Cross Poison, Night Slash, and Earthquake, Max Attack, Max Special Defense, 4 EVs and HP, with an Adamant Nature, and Sniper as his ability. And basically this Drapion actually walls Latios very well. If Latios isn't something like, if Latios doesn't have like Specs Draco Meteor or even Life Orb Draco Meteor, then I should be fine. Knockoff does a lot. It almost takes out a Latios, I think. And Night Slash, I'm pretty sure takes it out, especially if I get things like crits. So of course I have Night Slash and Cross Poison as things for high critical hit ratio to match up with Sniper. I'm hoping to get some lucky crits here. That would be really good, and can just punch holes in his team. It has the possibility to. Earthquake is the best move I have for, Mega Mawile. Earthquake also hits things like Magneton and Heliolisk. So Earthquake is really good. It does hit a good bunch of his team. I think Earthquake might even be the best idea for a Kieran Black. I'm not entirely sure. But I don't know. I'm going to be running a lot of calcs during this battle to see what can do what, because I ran so many, but like this is, there's so many things that need to go my way for me to be able to win this battle. But either way, so yeah, knockoff is knockoff, night slash, and even Fred was telling me this about how, like, you know, knockoff does less than half to a Masharna, and he's right. Knockoff does do less than half to a Masharna, but it does almost half, and then, you know, use knockoff, then night slash, maybe get a crit, things like that. It shouldn't be too much of a problem, hopefully. So that is my Drapion, and let's see. So we are covering a lot of the things here. So let's go with just something that I had to bring because I need power, and of course it's going to be Mega Pinsir. I didn't have anything that I'm specifically bringing Mega Pinsir for. It doesn't hit. I mean, it does hit a lot of his team well if it sets up. Like a Swords Dance, things like that. So the Mega Pinsir set I'm bringing this week is, you know, Pinsir with the Pincerite, blah blah blah. Return Swords Dance, Earthquake, Stealth Rock, max attack, max speed for EVs and HP, and a Jolly nature. And the reason for this is, again, I want to outspeed things. The Jolly Mega Pinsir is going to outspeed everything on his team except for Latios and anything Scarfed. Which is why I'm forfeiting Quick Attack, which may come back to haunt me. I guess we'll see. I don't really have priority on this team this week, so I could end up regretting that, especially if he brings things like Trick Room. We'll see. Return just hits hard. Swords Dance to set up. Earthquake is just a good idea for things like Mega Mawile. Like I said, Earthquake basically hits a lot of his team, so if I do force a switch, Earthquake is a pretty safe move to go for on anything that switches in. Stealth Rock, he's not like super weak to rocks or anything like that, but from my first 2 weeks of experience in this league and for battling, usually there's a lot of switches, and just any sort of chip damage is good to have. So I decided to stick Stealth Rock on Pinsir this week, just to get rocks up on his side of the field, and I think that's going to be good for me. Excuse me. But yeah, so I have Stealth Rock on the Pinsir, and let's see, yeah, and then everything else I covered. Then we go for the super surprise factor that I'm pretty sure he's not even going to expect me to bring, and that is Jumpluff, everybody. So Jumpluff is going to get his first bit of action here, and this Jumpluff I'm bringing does have leftovers with Infiltrator, and has Encore, Leech Seed, Sleep Powder, and Infestation, max HP, max speed, 4 EVs and special attack, and a Timid nature. And basically, if he runs things like sub Swords Dance Mega Mawile or sub Dragon Dance for Alligator, it's just a way to get behind the substitute. I am going to have to get kind of lucky with the Sleep Powder, because Sleep Powder is 75% chance to hit. So if I can get the right Pokemon asleep, that'll be good. I can also set up Leech Seed, which is really good, and I can also use Infestation to trap his Pokemon, and then I can switch in on something like Mega Pinsir and set up, or I can switch in on anything to take out whatever Pokemon I trap in there, which is really good. And I can also Encore Pokemon into like setup moves, which is good, and I can just Encore them even if they're behind a substitute. I can just Encore them, and then I can worry about taking all that out, you know, after I switch out, things like that. Of course, the problem with Jumpluff is that it can't really take a hit, so finding the right opportunity to get it on the field is going to be tricky, but I do feel like I will be able to get this thing out, and I just really hope that I can use it more than once to take care of a couple of different things. It's going to be a really good support if I can use it correctly. Which brings us to the last Pokemon, and just kind of the biggest problem that kind of pulls this whole team together. And it's what I mentioned before, is that I can't take hits. Straight up. There are, like, Arcanine can take physical hits, Drapion can kind of deal with Latios, but as a whole, my team just does not take hits super well. So, I was thinking, well, what would help me to be able to take hits? The answer is dual screens. So this week, I am bringing Starmie. And Starmie is going to have Light Clay, Natural Cure, Light Screen Reflect, Recover Ice Beam, Max HP, Max Speed, Timid Nature, and the 4 EVs in Special Attack. Starmie is my leadoff Pokemon, because Starmie outspeeds everything on his team that isn't Scarfed. straight up. So which means that I am guaranteed to get a screen up first turn, and then which means I can take a hit, which means that, you know, once I do take the hit, I can either recover the health back up, maybe if he switches, then I can get the other screen up, and then all of a sudden my team can just take hits better. So that's the idea, is to be able to help my team be able to take hits. So that's why the Starmie is running the dual screens. It has recover, that way you can recover up health to be able to stick around and set up screens more. Because if Starmie dies, and if Starmie dies early and I'm not able to set up screens, then basically my team is just going to get bodied. Straight up, 100%, there's no way around it. Starmie will get bodied if, my team will get bodied if screens are not up. I won't be able to use my team super effectively, and yeah, just screens are just going to be super, super helpful. I don't know if there's anything on his team that gets brick break, and if there is, I highly doubt he's going to bring it. The things that, I didn't even look that up, but I'm pretty sure the only things that maybe would get brick break are like Kecleon, Chestnut, Feraligatr maybe, but they're not very common moves on any of those Pokemon, so we'll see how that even happens, or what even happens with that. But of course, if he's more worried about trying to like break screens or whatever, then I can just use that to my advantage to get free switches into whatever I want. So that's basically the name of this battle, is get the screens up and try and do as much damage to him while my screens are up. Try and just annoy him, and try and win with the surprise factor with things like Jump Fluff and Assault Vest Drapion, and just see what I can do. His team is so much better than mine as I match up to it, but if I play well, I do have a chance to win. I don't expect to win, but we're about to find out. So that wraps up my team breakdown. So let's head on to the battle. Alright guys, so we're in the battle now, and this one is going to be another post-commentated battle. I did not want to live comment this one because I knew that I was going to be running calcs like every other turn, which I did kind of end up doing, and for a good reason. And you'll see that things came in handy this match, but let's not do any spoilers, and let's just get into it. So Fred did bring Magneton, Kieran Black, Heliolisk, Latios, Musharna, and Mega Mawile. He clearly sees that I am weaker on the special side of things than the physical side of things, because the only physical attacker he really brought was Mega Mawile. And I guess Kieran Black could be a mixed attacker, but I don't think it was. I don't think it used any physical attacks during this battle. And of course I did come a little bit prepared for that, so let's just see how well my plan paid off. Now we're going to start the battle, and we're already going to see me making a mistake, and this is big mistake number one. So he's going to start the battle with Mega Mawile while I start the battle with Starmie. Like I said I was going to start the battle with Starmie and just immediately go for screens. I should have went for a Reflect here, and then I could have, you know, switched into Arcanine in case he was trying to set up things like that. But I kind of panicked, and I just went straight into Arcanine because I didn't want him starting to set up Swords Dances or Substitutes or anything like that. So I kind of panicked and went into that. And he goes for Stealth Rocks, which means I would have been 100% safe to just start setting up my screens. He was not prepared for screens at all. He let me know that after the battle, that the screens freaked him out a little bit, and I would have been good. The other thing that happened is that he used Stealth Rock, and I didn't see it. I wasn't paying attention at that time. I wasn't sure if he used Stealth Rock or Swords Dance, so I was like, crap, what did he just use? So I went straight for the attack. I didn't go for the attack. I went for the Will-O-Wisp, I'm sorry, because I thought that he might be setting up, and so I just played it safe. But now, I did burn this Musharna, and with the Synchronize, he tried to burn me, but he can't, so that's safe. We don't need to worry about that again unless this Musharna has, like, Heal Bell or something like that, which I do not think it does. But we are about to find out what it does do, because we go right into Bunby the Drapion, and making his big debut here, he gets Thunder Wave, which I wasn't a huge... It didn't matter too much because I didn't put any speed into this thing. And I did figure that if I got like a good Night Slash crit, I could, you know, take this thing out. Now it is faster than me because I am paralyzed, so it can Moonlight and outstall. So basically, if I don't get a crit, it can outstall me. But I went for Earthquake because I didn't know if it was going to stay in, thinking that it was the safest thing to hit everything else. Things like Mawile, things like Kieran Black, and whatever. But he's just going to keep Moonlighting, and I do think at this turn I go for Knockoff to get rid of its leftovers. Let's see if I'm right. I did have this battle a couple days ago, so let's see. But I do use Knockoff, and he has, what is that, a Culpa Berry? My goodness. he came prepared with the Culver Berry, and yeah, so I just knocked that off. Whatever, that still did a decent amount, and so he goes for the Baton Pass instead of wasting all of his Moonlights, because I wasn't going to switch out. I had absolutely no reason to. This is the thing that can do the most amount of work against him. And as he switches out, I do go for the Knight/Crit, and I almost take him out. Now, because I am Assault Vest Drapion, I knew I could take any hit from this thing, so I stay in, and I go for an attack. I go for knockoff, just in case, for whatever reason, it was a safe play. And Drapion gets his first kill. Bun B coming through. He was not expecting me to have an Assault Vest Drapion, and it definitely came through for me. But then he goes into Kieran Black. Like I said before, I don't really have switch-ins to Kieran Black, so I was hoping that maybe I could take a hit here, but there was absolutely no way. I also wasn't sure if he was going to be like surprise physical or if he was going to be like special, so at this point I did see a physical attack, so I decided to just kind of let Drapion die. Figured that I could take Latios out another way. And then I decided to go into Jump Luff to try, and I think I tried to put this thing to sleep? Let me double check. I don't remember ever actually using Sleep Powder in this match, did I? I go for Encore because I wanted to Encore him into Earth Power, because, you know, I'm a flying type. That was what I was trying to do in case he went for, like, Ice Beam or something. But he goes straight for Musharna, probably predicting a Sleep Powder, and I go for Infestation. Fred told me that he wasn't a huge fan of Infestation set, but I think it could definitely work out, because I could, you know, trap him and then, like, bring in things like Mega Pinsir. Now, I couldn't bring in Mega Pinsir because it has Thunder Wave, and I did not want my Mega Pinsir to be Thunder Waved. So that was a really big problem. That was a huge problem. So I kind of had to think what I needed to do to kill this Musharna without getting my entire team paralyzed, because I can't let that happen. So what I decided to do is switch out into my Kyurem. Why did I do this? I think I was predicting him to heal up, and then I was like, oh, I could be able to take him out with like a Draco Meteor or something. If he had used Thunder Wave here, that would have been a really, really bad play on my part, but it turned out to be alright. And then we get to this. So I did not want to stand on this. I knew I couldn't one-shot, and I knew that Play Rough could one-shot. I think he could one-shot. I don't remember. And of course, Arcanine is my safe switching because he can't do anything to Arcanine. And I think this time he does go for an attack just to kind of scout how much defensive investment I have in this thing. And it's quite a lot. Actually, it's max defense. It's also max attack, not max HP. I don't know if you figured that out by that attack, but he definitely knows that I have some defense investment based on that attack. Now, I am at about halfway, and I did not expect him to stay in, so I feel like I should have went for, wow, why did I go for Close Combat? Probably because I knew he was going to switch out, and I didn't want to use Flare Blitz. Maybe I was trying to catch a Kieran Black switch in. I feel like that would have been a good play to either go for a Morning Sun or go switch out into something else, but it is what it is. Now, I had to worry about having something to switch into Latios, which of course was a huge problem when I was making my team, and I decided to just sack off Jump Luff. Jump Luff's role on this team was to be a fast support Pokemon, be able to come in, put something to sleep, you know, come in, trap something, like, but because it's paralyzed, it's basically lost that usefulness. So I decided to let it die so I could have a safe switch into Latios, and I do find out that this Latios is Life Orb Latios. So that means that it can switch attacks, that means that it's going to do a lot of damage, and this is the thing that hurts my team the most. But because it is, it means it's not Scarfed, and means that I can outspeed it. So I finally do the smart play. I bring out Starmie, and I set up my screens. So I set up the light screen, and then I go and set up the Reflect like I should have done turn 1. It's the same matchup, it's Starmie versus Mega Mawile. Why I didn't do this to begin with, I don't know. That probably could have helped, you know, me in my favor. However, he could have reacted differently and things could have played out entirely differently. I don't know. But he does have Rock Slide, so that's a thing. So far, I think he is Stealth Rock, Earthquake. Actually, no, I don't think he showed Earthquake. I'm not sure. But either way, I go straight for Arcanine, safe play, and I don't remember if he double switches or not. No, he went for Sucker Punch thinking that I was going to attack or something. I guess because that would have been a lot of damage on the Starmie, but I do believe I take this time to heal back up because Arcanine is behind dual screens. This is max defensive Arcanine that is behind 2 screens, so there's not really a whole lot he can do to me. His team doesn't take out an Arcanine super well, at least, especially when it's not behind screens. I'm sure Earth Power from Kieran Black would have possibly one-shot, but I decided to go straight for the Flare Blitz, play no games, figured I wouldn't take that much recoil because it didn't do that much, and Arcanine picks up a kill against Musharna. I do believe that's Arcanine's first kill, which is crazy. Unless he got a kill in the first match. I don't remember. I don't think he did. Our team is pretty evenly distributed as far as it amounts to like getting kills. Like, there isn't really one that rises above the rest. Despite the fact that I have like Mega Pincer on my team. Kieran has the most kills, I think, but it's only like 3. And so I know I could take one because I was behind a light screen, and I went for Will-O-Wisp for reasons. Probably just get some residual damage. I could have easily just went for an attack there, like a Flare Blitz, and that would have done a lot. Or I could have Morning Sunned. If I knew he was going for Draco Meteor, I could have Morning Sunned, and then his special attack was down, and then I could have just went for an attack. But I think instead I had to go for Morning Sun on this turn, if I am not mistaken. And then here is the Magneton, and this is where the battle goes completely south. There's really not a whole lot to say. I did stay in because I'm still behind the light screen. Thunderbolt's not going to do a whole lot, and he did go first, so that means that he's scarfed. So I do know that he is scarfed now. However, I don't remember if I knew that at the time. I feel like I wasn't sure. I had a feeling that I went second that turn, so I thought he was scarfed, but I wasn't 100% sure until I think after this turn. My light screen wears off, which means I am not as safe to stay in with my Arcanine anymore, so I go into Kyurem. Kyurem can come in. Since I'm scarfed, I outspeed, 1 Earth Power, bam, that's a dead Magneton. Easy battle, right? Wrong. He uses Thunderbolt, and out of all things that could have happened, he paralyzes me. At this point, it's already almost GG because, you know, that's my Kyurem Black counter. My Scarf Kyurem is my Kyurem Black, and then both screens were off. But I was like, you know what? I think I can live one more, and I live at 8 HP. Paralyzed, can't move. I went for Earth Power. That would have taken him out. I'm almost 100% sure. And then that would have at least gotten rid of this thing. And this thing is more of a problem than you know, and you are about to find out why. I'm not even going to lie. This thing wins the battle for Fred. And this is the end of the match. He just cleans up my team with Scarf Magneton. How that happens, I don't even know. I don't even know. I probably at this point should have went into Starmie and set up a light screen instead of bringing in an Arcanine and letting it die, because then behind a light screen I could have like set up a Morning Sun, and then I could have Flare Blitzed it. So that's one mistake that I made. And even after a light screen, I'm pretty sure that Starmie is going to die. Oh wait, no, because it's scarfed. I didn't want to bring it in because the Magneton is scarfed, and I was like, well, then it's probably going to outspeed. I did math wrong, and I really was convinced that it was going to outspeed, but I was like, you know what, let's try anyway. I do get a light screen up, but that's still going to take out Starmie, because Starmie is weak to it and doesn't have any special defense investments or anything like that. So, yeah, my last hope was LeBron James the Mega Pincer. Now here, I do something stupid. I calc to see if I can live a Thunderbolt behind a light screen, and I can. I can live a Thunderbolt behind a light screen. So I was like, oh, you know what? I should set up a Swords Dance and then go for a sweep. Stupid me doesn't think, A, I don't have Quick Attack, B, this is Scarfed Magnetons without speeds, so why did I do this? I could have gotten an Earthquake here and at least gotten a kill, and then I would have lost 3-0. Fred says that if I had Quick Attack that I would have been able to sweep him. I disagree, because Quick Attack wouldn't have been able to take out Mawile. He could have spammed Sucker Punch. He said that Mind Games could have been played, and that, like, I, could have maybe outplayed him that way, but I really don't think that would have happened. I think he's smarter than that. He could have spammed Sucker Punch and just, he would be able to get me. He would be able to get me, because I would have had to use Earthquake to take out the Mega Mawile, and I just don't think that it matters. So I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack for using Stealth Rocks instead of Quick Attack and not having Quick Attack on my Mega Pincer, and that is something that I will take into consideration for the future. However, I don't think that it affected the outcome of this battle. I could have gotten a kill with Mega Pincer. I could have actually gotten another kill with Arcanine had I just, sent in Starmie first, sent up a light screen. Then I would have had an Arcanine alive, which would have been able to take out, it would have been able to take out Mawile, it would have been able to take out the Magneton, and with a light screen up, if I would have been at good health, I may have been able to live a hit from Latios or Kyurem Black, unless Kyurem Black had Draco Meteor. If so, then there's no way. But, either way, there's ways that I could have won, there's ways that I could have played better, but in general, I definitely did get outplayed, I think. So I'm going to take everything that I learned from this battle, and we are going to implement that into our next battle. And our next battle is against Troy, the Trojan Horsey, and the Wycombe Wanderers. And I'm very, very excited about that match. And I am out for revenge, not really against him, just to... I don't like having a losing record. I don't want to have a losing record, so I'm going to absolutely do my best to build the most fantastical team ever against Troy, and that is going to be super exciting. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this PPL battle. We did lose. We are now 1-2, and Mega Pincer has probably like the worst coach in the world because I'm so bad at using it. But hopefully we can get a nice... it can get some nice kills within the next coming weeks. And yeah, so hopefully you guys did enjoy, like I said. And go ahead, leave a like, show your support, leave your comments and thoughts on the battle and my team. And I will see you guys on the next time. So until then, stay sly.